Hello and welcome back to today's episode of the What is K-pop podcast. Or welcome to the What is K-pop podcast. Or whatever my intro is. I don't know. It changes all the time. But hello and welcome if you're new and welcome back if you're not new. I just talk all things K-pop about like the members, a bit about the history, like give you like the birthday of the members and like an interesting fact about them, talk generally about my opinions, and then also just mention far too much about my own life because apparently I can't stop talking about myself. Funny thing with that is, just quickly off on like the fun little side tangent about my life and then we'll get on to the topic at hand. My dad was charging up the old tablets that me and my sister used to use when we a couple of years ago, and my dad was like, oh, there's so many pictures of you on this one, I bet this one is yours. And I kid you not, without a beat, I said, well, I am the centre of my own universe, so I'm not surprised that there's loads of pictures of me. And my mum was like cackling and she was like, really, you are the most important person in your life? And I'm like, yeah? Who's the most important person in your life, Mum? And she was like, well, all three of you. And obviously the cats are important too. And I'm like, but, you know, the saying of like, don't help anyone else with... Still recording? Yep, sorry about that. Just had to answer the door. Anyway, as I was saying about, I'm the centre of my own universe, like, of course I'm the most important person in my life. You make it sound as though I wouldn't be. And like I said that and I explained like what I was meaning by that, and she was like, my mum was like, oh yeah, that actually does kind of make more sense that like, yeah, you would think like that. I'm like, well, how else am I meant to think? And my dad like chimed in and he said like, but I always help everyone else before I help myself. Like, mum gets the nice water, she gets her breakfast first. And I had to kind of be like, well, Dad, you've always been like that though. Like, you've always helped people before you've helped yourself, and that's just you. I'm just simply saying about how I'm like, I would never call myself like selfish. And I think it is just like, sorry, before I ended this podcast, it's actually a very common thing that I've at least heard that autistic people tend to like be like that. Obviously not like making the generalization, you might be autistic yourself. And like, absolutely not. Like, I would help everyone else out first before doing stuff. And I'm like, yeah, great, good for you on that. Like, do carry on doing that. I'm just saying that for me, I'm like the most important person in my life because it's my life. Like, how could I not be? Yeah, I just thought it was really funny. I just came out with it, and like, my parents didn't even question it, because I've always kind of been like that. But obviously I do help out. Well, I more or less kind of get annoyed at the person who's ill. Like, if anyone's ill, I'm just like, the natural order of the world is incorrect, I don't like this. But like, I will always try to help out and stuff. And I do actually do a lot around the house. I just think it was just extremely funny how I just directly came out of it and no one questioned. They were like, yes, Sophie is like that, but it is funny more than anything. So that was me. Also, I burnt my face using vitamin C stuff. And also, if you're clicking on this thinking that I'm going to be talking about vitamin C, I'm not. I'm just talking a little bit about my own experience with it, and then we're going to go on to H.O.T, which is a boy group. Kind of like One Direction, but they dance a little bit more and they more perform on like stage and stuff, in case you're like wondering what on earth I'm talking about. So anyway, a couple of months ago, or I'd say like maybe it was a couple of years ago actually, my sister ordered something from the Body Shop, and they sent as a free gift a pack of vitamin C like testers. And so she was like, Sophie, you can have these. I don't have any, I don't want to use vitamin C, like, there you go. So I started using it, and like, I used it on and off, like every couple of days or something, whenever I remembered that I needed to wash my face. And then I started using it regularly, and I was wondering, why is my skin like really dry? So I was using it in conjunction with using collagen products. So I was like, well, you know, it could be the fact that I'm using collagen and vitamin C and something new, so I'll just completely cut those things out and I'll just go back to my basic face wash and stuff. So I did that, and it cleared up. And I think it was a week or so ago, I went to Sainsbury's with my mum, after my support group, she bought more face wash for herself, and it was like a tea tree oil face wash with vitamin A, C, and E added into it. And I was like, well, I'm sure it'll be fine because it's like mixed in with other stuff. Like I kind of remembered like vitamin C can make you dry, made my skin really dry, and I was like, I'm sure it'll be fine. So I started using it like every single day. I would wash my face in the morning and wash my face at night. And a couple of days ago, I I had noticed it already. I noticed that there was a little patch on the top of my forehead was getting dry, and then I noticed on the side of my eye it was getting dry as well. And now I literally all over my eyes, like down even like past my on the side of my nose and down like just where my lips are is dry, and it is so painful, particularly around my mouth because it like is for whatever reason just extremely dry in that area. And I hate vitamin C now with a burning passion. And I did some research online and it said like, oh, like people with sensitive skin can be really sensitive to vitamin C and stuff. Now I've noticed that the products I used to use, like face masks I used to use when I was younger, they make my skin burn sometimes. And like I was washing my face, I'd like washed all of the face wash off and I was putting on like moisturizer, and I was like, this is burning. This isn't fun. This is kind of scary. And I was like, okay, maybe it's because it's not like the sensitive moisturizer, the Nivea sensitive moisturizer. And then I like pulled it out and I was like, shit, this is the sensitive stuff. Like, what's going on? And then I was like, vitamin C. So anything with vitamin C in it now is my worst enemy. And, you know, my face hurts because I've not been able to properly wash it and put moisturizer on it. And it is dry and sore. And I'm a silly goose. And my sister, thankfully, she's got a driving lesson today. She's going out into town afterwards to go and buy like me some like proper face wash so then I can stop, you know, being dry and being crinkly and stuff. And my mum is getting back that face wash and it can go live in the dark depths of hell for all I care. And even my sister was like, yeah, no, I can't use vitamin C either. It just burns me. So I'm like, good for that. I love that for me. I love that, you know, I've been burnt literally, and yeah, I am paying the price. So that was all the fun skincare little side tangent. And I've already been recording for 10 minutes, so I love that for me. And also, when I recorded my monthly review, like obviously you can cut out all the pauses and the filler words that you use. I won't say them now because they're just going to get cut out. But I said I think it was like 5 or 10 minutes worth of filler words in a 40-minute episode, and I had about 10 minutes worth of pauses or something like that. So like probably like half of the episode was me not talking or me saying a filler thing. So the moral of the story is that I can't get my words straight and I probably need a script. But you know, when you like have a intro and you're kind of used to saying the intro, it's like whenever I say it, I'm just like, this is cringe. What am I doing? I'm not some like massive YouTuber, but I'm like, you know, Sophie, it isn't that dramatic. It's just an intro. Like you listen to these YouTubers all the time saying these things. Like, why is it so weird for you to say them? So here we are. Anyway, H.O.T. H.O.T, pronounced obviously H.O.T, acronym for From High Five of Teenagers, was a South Korean boy group that was created by SM96. They are considered to be the first like K-pop idol group, and their formula kind of became the basis of what we know now today as K-pop idols, which I think is really, really cool. I love that. I'm like, wow. Like SM really did pave the way. Like honestly, so many people, like I bet like there's gonna be some people that are just like, no, BTS paved the way. Like so many people say that. I'm like, actually, HOT put the footings down They put the footings down. Big Bang, they mastered the foundations. BTS built the house, and all of these other groups are furnishing and making the house look pretty and expanding the house. So that's my 2 cents on who paved the way. H.O.T put the footings down. So yeah. So the group consists of 5 members: Moon Hee Jun, Jang Woo Hyuk, Tony An, Kangta, and Lee Jae-won. And I will say this right now: Kangta is my bias, which is hilarious given the fact that I think he's about 44 now and I'm 21, so that's hilarious. Whenever I mention those like ages to my parents and I say like, oh, I like them, they're just like, my daughter has a crush on someone who's double her age. I'm like, yeah, you let your kid on the internet. What are you expecting? And I think I mentioned it on the TVXQ video episode I did. Yunho, you know Yunho? He's 17 years older than me, and I have a massive crush on him, even though he might be gay. Who knows? All I know is that I am enjoying the feast I'm getting off of TVXQ content right now and just listening to their songs and being like, yes, thank you. I am enjoying, I'm eating. You know, you just get into random groups. But I haven't actually listened to much of H.O.T. It isn't that I don't want to, it's just that their music is very much of its time, like 1990s K-pop music, which isn't really my cup of tea. The oldest song I've listened to is probably I think actually Neurotic, which is from TVXQ, and that came out in 2008. So I've not really listened to much older K-pop, or at least like enjoyed older K-pop. I isn't to say that it's not good, just not my cup of tea. But I have listened to Candy, which is like one of their famous songs, and that song that they always sing at the concerts. That's only two of them, even though they probably have like over 100. I don't know. They sold over 6.4 million records in South Korea and were also commercially successful in China and Taiwan, and one of the first stars of the Hallyu wave in Asia. They ended up disbanding in 2001 following a contract disagreement with the company, and loads and loads of people protested against SM, and only Kangta has remained at the company, and he serves as an executive at there, and is a whatchamacallit. He's 45. Correction there, he's 45. He's an executive at SM since 2005 and a chief producer of music rights label Smash Hits since 2023. He was discovered at Lottie World, which is amazing. Imagine me going to Alton Towers in, how old would we have been? 1993. He was born in 79, I believe. Let's go with that. Imagine me being at Alton Towers in 2017 and got casted. I'd just be like, no. I'd just be straight up. I'll be like, no, absolutely not doing it. No, I'm really lazy. It's actually true. I actually said that to my boss one time when I was British Heart Foundation, a charity in England. I actually directly said to her, I'm really lazy. She still kept me. I worked there for about 4 months before I had a freak out, couldn't go back. Yeah, right. She didn't instantly be like, no, we're just gonna let you go. I fucking love it. I love it. So Isu Man, who is the founder of SM, formed the group in 1996 by using information from polling high school students, which, now that I kind of think back on it, knowing who SM is, Isu Man is, I'm like, right. If I was a student and was asked by a very famous music producer and the founder of SM, or like a company, what I would like in a group, I don't think I would talk to them because no, it's a bit creepy. And also my old head teacher from primary school, he actually got caught like sleeping with all of the teachers pretty much. And when I was in year 6, he would actually invite kids into his office to have lunch with him. It isn't how it sounds, given the first bit of context. It was perfectly fine, these kids, they just had lunch with the head teacher, but like, I don't I don't know. I feel like nowadays, especially in 2025, that wouldn't be a thing. But he became the head teacher in 2013, and obviously I left in 2014 to go into secondary school. So like it wasn't too different. But my mum actually said to me, Sophie, if he invites you to his office, you say no. Like even if it makes if it like it makes your teacher upset with you, don't go. I'm like, okay. I didn't understand like the context, obviously the bad context, but like, yeah, no, that was a bit weird. And if someone like SM or anyone that like was a representative of a company came up to me and asked me what I'd like in a K-pop group or just a group in general, I'd have to be like, absolutely not. I'm not talking to you. Get away from me. But like not because obviously that like I felt like they would do something, but like also I don't want to be talked to. I want to be left alone. But also I don't anything to happen. I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with this, but it's weird. I don't like it. So the first member to join the group was obviously Kangta, who was discovered at the amusement park, and then his friends and fellow singing partners, Jun and Jaewon. Woo Hyuk was joined the group after winning a dance contest and attracting Suman's attention, and then Tony joined after auditioning in Los Angeles, which is interesting. Oh wow! I just read that apparently the second ever single from H.O.T was Candy. We Do Stand, We Do Love. Their first album, their debut album, was We Hate All Kinds of Violence, which sold 1.5 million copies. They released their second album. Oh wow, less than a year later. They debuted in September, and then in July of 1997 they came out with their second album, Wolf and Sheep, which sold 1 million copies in 10 days. In that time, that is amazing. Like it took, oh god, like ages for like a lot of YouTubers back even in like 2006 to get 1 million subscribers. And like in 97 to have 1 million people buy your album, that is wow. A number of their songs, Wolf and Sheep, Happiness, and We Are the Future, got banned from airing due to their strong language, but the album was commercially and critically successful and won the grand prize at the Golden Disc Awards and the Soul Music Awards. And We Are the Future was nominated for an International Reviewer's Choice Award at the MTV Music Awards in 1998, and that was when H.O.T was cemented as a social sensation in South Korea. There's a lot of words, and it's in very difficult language to like just talk about. And in 1997, they also released their first Chinese album, and that helped the group survive the slump in South Korean record sales, which followed the Asian financial crisis, which I'd love to learn more about. But then also, I'm like, I don't want to learn too much because otherwise, I feel like I'll just go down a rabbit hole into like financial issues, given the fact that we had a recession back in 2008 in the UK, and we're kind of going through one now, and then I'd kind of get sad. So I think I'll just leave that where that is. Okay, so a little bit more than a year later, they released their third album, Resurrection, in September of 1998, and it featured a variety of styles, including hardcore, hip hop, and sold more than 1.1 million copies by 1999. At the 1998 Soul Musical Awards, Resurrection was awarded the grand prize, and which is shared with special album by I'm going to talk about them a few weeks. I feel like I'm just kind of going through like early 2000s, first generation K-pop groups, or like kind of early second generation groups, and I'm just doing that and I'm having fun. They were signed. So what company were they under? DSP, I guess. Yeah, because obviously they reference H.O.T, and then yeah, they were meant to be a duo, and then they created a 6-member group. Is that the idol that is like really bad? I think it is. Yeah, I always get this group and whatever that bloody other group's called. Shinhwa? Is it that one? It is. Yeah, the really old one. Sorry, I just dunked on them. The longest running K-pop group, who is the group is older than my sister, if you would believe that. I just dunked on her. Oh no, they've been around since 1998, which is very good for a K-pop group. They released a live greatest hits album in April of 1999, and they performed alongside Michael Jackson and SES a benefit concert in Seoul, which was arranged by Michael Jackson, on the 25th of June that year. They released in September of 1999 a fourth album called I Ya, and the album's title track was about a 1999 fire that unfortunately took the lives of kindergarten students at the Sealand Youth Training Center in South Korea, selling more than 1.3 million copies, and they became the first ever K-pop group to perform at the Seoul Olympic Stadium. 3 days after the album was released, 40,000 fans came to see them perform, which is extremely good. So, obviously into the new millennium, on the 1st of February 2000, H.O.T performed to 13,000 fans in Beijing at their first concert in China, which is extremely good. And the group became popular in China and reportedly sold out of 400,000 copies of their album in the country by January of that year, made it possible for SM to promote their groups in China. Obviously, it isn't really like a thing now. It's only Chinese idols that get to really promote in China, but you know, the groups are still being promoted, which we do stand. And they started a sci-fi movie called Age of Peace, where they portrayed soccer players, football players, living in a futuristic society. But the movie was not a hit. Just going back a little bit, they released their fifth album, Outside Castle, in September of 2000. I thought they only released two. I did not realise they released more. I do apologise for that. H.O.T did announce its disbandment, though, in May of 2000. That they, and that can't speak. What is wrong with me? Members on Lee and Zhang told the press that they would be leaving SM because they could not come to an agreement with the company over a new contract. In the following days, lots of their fans protested outside of the headquarters, like I said, and that it was later reported that the contractual disagreements between H.O.T and SM concerned the group members' pay, which was only about $10,000 at the time for every 1 million albums they sold, which isn't that good considering they only ever sold about 1 million and a bit more per album that they put out. Obviously, again, that's still extremely good, but given the amount of money that would have generated at the time and the amount of money that SM would have been getting for them at the time, that's not a good split. I would kind of give a bit of a side eye if it was more along the lines of 100,000 per every 100,000 they, 100,000 per million they sold. Then at least you'd be like worth 500,000 just on album sales. But I do understand kind of where that comes from, given the fact that they are the first of their kind. It does make a little bit more sense because SM didn't know what sort of fire they were playing with at the time. But if it came out that like the company was still doing this shit, still pulling it, I would kind of be a bit like, SM, you're doing the thing again, and SM, you're being bad again. We're seeing the cracks. Yeah, obviously the members ended up splitting, with Kangta only being the one staying at SM. All of the members are still relatively active in the entertainment industry, and they did make a reunion in 2018. In the years of between the disbandment and reunion, the possibility of a reunion was constantly brought up, as it is for most successful groups. I can't do words. Obviously not the first generation groups to reunite. H.O.T and Fly to the Sky have, being in 2014. This idea came about in 2016, with obviously the 20th anniversary of the group, and all of them did meet with Suman for the possibility, but it didn't come to fruition. Obviously, it did in 2018, but you know. So they could come back next year actually for their 30th, and I would be down to see that. Like if they did it on a live stream, I would watch it. Even though I'd be like, I have absolutely no idea what they're singing. I've not heard any of these songs, but I'm waving my phone around, my phone light around, and be like, yeah, H.O.T. I would watch it because they're like the K-pop group. They are the reason why I get to do this for fun each day, practically. That's all I freaking do. Sorry, but like seriously, I would watch it and I would review it and I'd be like, yeah, it hopefully would be fun. I don't know. But I mean, all the members are kind of in their mid to late 50s now, maybe in their 50s. But that doesn't mean to say that they couldn't come back if they wanted to. But you know, I would be there. I would be there to see it if they did decide to make a comeback. So we're gonna quickly tell you about the names and the ages of the members because that is what I do. Woo. How long have I been doing this? 33 minutes. I don't like my episodes ever to be too long because I want them to kind of be like, oh, you just get like a random little spurt of information, but it never works out that way. So anyway, Moon Hee-jun was born on the 14th of March 1978 in Gangnam district of Seoul, and he's currently 46 years old. He has 2 children and married to a woman named So-yul back in 2017. And he is a pop rock singer-songwriter and dancer signed under Sidus HQ. And right, yeah. He married So-yul of Crayon Pop. I do not know that because I am dumb. Hye-kyung, which is her real name. And he's 13 years her junior, so 13 years younger than him. They got married and had their first daughter, Moon Hyul, on the 12th of May 2017, and had their second child, a son, Moon Hee-woo, on the 7th of September 2022. I wish them all the best. Next we have is Jang Woo-hyuk, born on the 8th of May 1978, making him 46, and he was born in Daegu, South Korea. And he, not saying this is a bad thing, but he's not married or had children. It's not said that he's had any relationships, but perfectly fine. You know, not everyone wants to become a parent, which I understand. Next one we have is Tony An. He was born on the 7th of June 1978 in Icheon-dong in the Yongsan district of Seoul, South Korea, and he is currently 46 years old. And he currently shares a house with Shiski's member Kim Jae-duck, which is interesting. But I mean, it even says on here, the arrangement has caused a stir amongst their contemporaries as both groups were regarded as one another's fiercest rivals during the late 1990s and largely avoided any contact with one another despite crossing paths many times. They have met and befriended one another during their mandatory military service. It doesn't have any references to it, so it might not even be true, but I love that. That's so funny. So I'm like, literally, these people were going through something so different and so strange and so new that they were probably friends. Like, it's said all the time that K-pop idols, particularly men and like boys and girls, men and women, whatever you want to refer to them as, are probably friends, and they probably just don't even bother trying to pretend that they are in front of the cameras because they don't want the drama. And I'm like, this is proof that these people can be friends and that it's all chill, it's all good, you know. it just makes me laugh so much. Next one we have is An Chil-hyun, which is Kangta, born on the 10th of October 1979 in Seoul, South. He was confirmed to be in a relationship with Jung Yubi on the 4th of February 2020. I do hope that they continue to be happy. They've nearly been publicly together for 5 years, which is cool. recording this on the 3rd of February. I don't know when it's going up though. I'll just probably figure it out when it gets to the uploading page. I don't know. So Lee Jae-won was born on the 5th of April 1980 in Gangdong-gu in Seoul, South Korea, which makes him 44 years old. And he's not done too much, which is fine. He enlisted for his compulsory mandatory military service, whatever you want to call it, in 2009. Served for 22 months in the Ministry of National Defense in Yongsan-gu in Seoul and discharged on the 7th of March 2011. H.O.T reunion, which is nice. But unfortunately, he was diagnosed with thyroid cancer in April of 2014 and was announced for his representatives on the 10th of January 2015. I do hope that he is doing much better though now. So yeah, that's been the members of H.O.T, a little bit about their history, plus my inability to properly talk as always. But yeah, thank you if you have watched this far, and I will talk to you guys again very, very soon. Bye!